Hell yeah. I don't know the rights to the music. I know, YouTube. I know. I don't know the rights. I don't know the rights. But I guarantee the guy I'm going to talk about and the band I'm going to talk about today would not give two fucks about me playing some of their music here. Especially when I'm going to talk really good about the man and his band. So, for those who don't know, that's Dokken right there. One of my favorite Dokken tunes right there. Badass. Badass tune. Anyway, how we all doing? All right. Well, we got, shit, man, I think it's like, I forgot to write the shit down, but I think it's episode 4 of season 2. I think like the 29th episode overall now. I think that's what it is. So, I forgot to write those numbers down, and, you know, shit. Attention to detail thing. Fucking, shit. I fucked up. All right. But we still got more working to do, bitch. I just threw the theme song at you right there. Didn't even give you no fucking warning. So how we doing? A couple days before Thanksgiving. Hopefully y'all are going to have a good turkey day. But for right now, we're going to talk about what I seen last Friday night at the Golden Nugget. Dokken was making an appearance. And there's a special guest later on I got to talk about too. I'm not going to talk about him yet. But we were at the Golden Nugget Friday night. 11/17/23 is the actual date of the concert there. I'm going to see Dokken. When I got there, I'm buying a Dokken shirt. Not this one I have on now. This is cool. I have the newer one too from the new album, Heaven Comes Down. Just released in October this year. Check it out. And I was in the line, and a little birdie told me that Dokken didn't come down for sound check, and the special guest confirmation wasn't 100% yet. So, of course, there were a lot of the little birds floating around. They're just going crazy like chickens with their heads cut off. Hopefully that the show is going to be all good and everything. So, like I said, that Golden Nugget, so about a capacity of 600. Sometimes if it's over capacity, I could squeeze a few people to stand on the sides as well. Every bit there, I mean, it was real close to being capacity, I can tell you that. There was not many empty seats. The crowd was awesome. I thought it was going to be a crowd where most of the people were going to be sitting down most of the show. So when they're kind of doing the intro before they come out on stage, I was like, let me go off to the side so I could start jamming. And ended up, I could have stayed at my seat because everybody was up for the whole show. I mean, there was a few people, of course, sitting down, but for the most part, they were up. And the good thing about it was, it wasn't like Dokken had to come out and say, like, hey, it's a rock show, you can stand. No, man, everybody was up. That's how excited everybody was. The vibe was great. Don Dokken, you know, of course, the founder of Dokken, he's awesome. They have a man named John Levin who's been there on guitar since 2003 with him. He is bad to the bone. A guy who's been there about 8 years. Chris McCarville on bass. Badass bassist. And then they have one guy that's one of the newer guys as a full-timer. He was a touring drummer for Dokken from 2003 to 2010, but an actual Dokken member officially starting 2019, Bill Zampa. So I kind of like that name, Zampa. Reminds me of Zappa, but with an M instead of a P. So anyway. So it was a good show, high energy. Like I said, the crowd is up. Dokken was out there on stage on time. I mean, it waited a few minutes past 8, but nothing out of the normal. So he got out there. First song he hits the stage with, Don't Close Your Eyes. Fuck yeah. Badass way to start the show. One of my favorite tunes, from one of my favorite Dokken tunes. The tune I came in on. I don't have no rights to that tune, YouTube, of course, so please don't fist me with the twist today. Have a little holiday cheer. Let me slide. And anyway, then the second song was Hunter. Into the Fire, which is Into the Fire. You know, Hunter's one of them old Dokken tunes too, but Into the Fire, that's one of them, you know, if you listen to Dokken, you've heard Into the Fire. Breaking the Chains. And then he has a little story about this next song. It's from a movie, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. Robert Englund, who plays Freddy Krueger, of course. And this was the Dream Warriors edition of the Nightmare on Elm Street series, in which the song that Dokken was handpicked by Robert Englund to do was called Dream Warriors. And he has a story about Don. They're eating a pizza, and they're sitting there eating a pizza, and Dokken's eating a pizza, and Robert Englund comes up. He's going to eat some pizza. And the way they had Freddy's mask, apparently, wasn't like one big piece. It was like 4 different kind of like plates, like these plastic plate kind of things, the rubbery things, they put on the fucking face to make it look like he was burned and shit, that kind of shit. But it was made up of 4 different pieces of that. And apparently one of those pieces fell off into the pizza. and then it was kind of like a little thing that Don was talking about, like, well, you can have that piece, Freddy. A quick little story. I thought that was pretty cool. And then he does a song called Just Got Lucky. And then into one of my favorite rock ballads of all time, Alone Again. Very good tune. And then they do Too High to Fly, which is like a long studio tune anyway. But they really did like a massive guitar solo where they really rip into it. And then after they get done with the guitar solo, Don Dokken kind of cuts into the Doors song, The End. And kind of like spins the song. And now all of a sudden, next thing you know, he even kind of sounds a little kind of, because he's got the deep voice. And he even kind of sounds a little like, a little like Jim. So it was pretty cool the way he did that. And also another thing I want to mention before I finish up with the regular set, before I get to our special guest part of the show. I believe Michael Maglieri, I believe Jr., was the owner of Whiskey A Go-Go Rainbow on the Sunset Strip in like Los Angeles, California. Passed away November the 5th of this year. The memorial was supposed to be Friday night. Dokken was really close to this man because this man and this man's father was the one responsible for letting Dokken get on stage to play 10 to 30 minutes before the big act came on. You know what I mean? Like Dokken be like, let me get up there and play. Like I'm talking like before he's putting out albums, before anybody knew who Dokken was. He'd always be, and they'd be like, get up there, we'll give you fucking 30 minutes tonight, or we'll give you 10 minutes, and Dokken would be able to get up there, sing, and the band be able to play, and they're kind of building up their, they're kind of getting their word out there, like, hey, if you guys like this, maybe spread the word, let other people know. I mean, LA, especially at that time for the rock scene, was just crazy. All the bands that came out of that scene, like Rat, Motley Crue. I know there's countless others. I don't want to start naming all of the shit. And I probably would miss a few anyway, but there was a bunch of bands that came out of that scene around that time. And so Dokken got up there and was able to do that and be able to get up there and play for a little while. And that'd be great to be able to open up for these other bigger bands that are getting ready to come on the stage, and shit like that. And so Dokken almost canceled this show because he was really close to that family, wanted to be at that memorial. And this is the last day of the Dokken tour for this year. So he wanted to kind of finish up the show, so he showed up to the Nugget to play the show. The owner, or one of the owners, I think nephews of the venue of the whiskey, just told Dokken, hey, just show up Saturday night and you can play a set on stage here at Whiskey. And so Dokken was like, that's my way of giving a little shout out to that family because I can't be there for the memorial, and he really wanted to be there, and I felt bad for the man. Not only for that, but also you gotta remember Don Dokken's had a lot of health issues, back issues and stuff. He had like a huge back procedure about 1.5 2 years ago, I want to say, close to it. I don't know the exact timeline because, like I said, I'm not his fucking surgeon and shit, but it didn't really help him out a whole lot in the back area. But also he's kind of partially paralyzed on his right side a little bit. So pretty much he can kind of hold the mic, but he doesn't, he's not going to be picking up a guitar probably anytime soon, which is sad because Don could play guitar too. He played rhythm on stage while the other guy, either John Levin or possible special guest would be playing. with him doing the leads, you know. So, I mean, it's, you know, but Don still gets up there for the fans. He's still getting out the vocals. It hurts him when he tries to get really high. So between being 70 years old and all the pain he's already going through with the back, because when you're singing, you're pushing out a lot of that stuff, you know, and he puts everything into it, and it's painful. It's got to be painful. So he may not get his highs like he did, you know, 40 years ago, you know, 30 years ago, no, shit, 40 years ago. Now, yeah, it is right. Damn. Wow. Getting old. Anyway, yeah. So, you know, you gotta, you know, give it to them that they still get out there and they still jam. They still sounded good. I love it. To finish up the set was In My Dreams. So that was a good tune to finish up like the basic set. Now we're going to bring out the special guest. And most of you know pretty much who the special guest is if you've kind of been just paying attention a little bit to Dokken. It's going to be George Lynch, who was the original founding lead guitarist with Don back when Dokken was started. Also a big songwriter as well. In fact, Don't Close Your Eyes, I think, is more of a George Lynch wrote tune. And Dokken kind of like fed in a little bit, but I don't know that as 100%. But just what my research was saying, George Lynch had a huge hand in the song "Don't Close Your Eyes," which is badass because, like I said, it's one of my favorite tunes. But the first song they do with George is "Unchained Tonight," which is a good Dokken tune, and then they do "When Heaven Comes Down," which is a good hard rocking. Good Dokken. George Lynch is badass as a guitar and revered by so many other guitarists in the rock industry. Even if you're not a huge Dokken fan, check him out a little more and then just sit back and enjoy the licks from George Lynch, man. This is bad to the bone. He was with the band until like early 2000s, I want to say. But the main heyday in the 80s, that's when you gotta fucking really check them out. That's when George, man, that's when Dokken was at its best, George. You know what I mean? When they were really coming out on fire. And then, of course, gonna finish up the whole entire set with Tooth and Nail, which is one of my favorite Dokken tunes as well. I know I say that a lot, but Dokken's got a lot of good tunes I love, so what the fuck. But the one tune that was crossed out on the set list was Kiss of Death, which is definitely my top 3 Dokken tunes of all time. And I was upset because they taped the set list on the stage, and Golden Nugget's such a small theater area that you can walk right up there and they don't care if you take a picture of the set list taped on the stage. That's how cool of a venue that is. And the very first song was supposed to be Kiss of Death, and it's crossed out. And the third song was supposed to be Don't Close Your Eyes, but that switched with Hunter to become now the first tune of the set. So it was a good show. He did forget one of the songs. He did skip over one of the songs on the set list, though, called It's Not Love. But like I said, the man just being able to get out there and as much pain as he's in and stuff, not only, you know, emotionally with what I told you about, but like I said, the physical pain that he's feeling just trying to entertain us for a little while. So I let him slide. I love you, Don Dokken. From what I heard, a little birdie has told me already, he will be back next year with the band. And even a special guest said that they would be back. But from what a little birdie also told me was 2025 will probably be the last year for both Dokken and George Lynch, as far as like it's time for them to kind of go into retirement. Do some more, you know, maybe do like some one-offs every now and then. Maybe, you know, I could see Dokken doing like a one-off show at like Vegas. You know what I mean? The venue size was good enough for him. I think he'd be like, let's do one more good one to kind of wrap it up. But if not, from what I heard, he's going to be back at the Nugget next year. I'm already looking forward to it. I have an old picture here, which is on my set wall there, but it's kind of been covered up, and I haven't showed it much lately, so that's me and Dokken back in 2019. I'm showing you this picture now because this picture has led to a t-shirt that I got made before the show on Fremont Street. And then I dropped off said t-shirt backstage to Birds and quite such people like that. And Don was kind enough after the show, even though his right hand is, like I said, it's partially paralyzed. He could still kind of write a little bit, but it's kind of rough because it's hard when you're 60-some years old trying to relearn stuff. Whenever he had this operation, he was like in his very late 60s. Now he's 70. So he's not going to try to learn how to write left-handed. He just writes right-handed. It just takes him a little bit. And it may not look exactly what it used to be, but it is his signature on the shirt. I have proof from said birds that watched him do it. So, suck it. Fuck yeah. Rock history right there. Rock history, George Lynch getting on stage with Dokken to play a few tunes. I know he's done some of these appearances here and there throughout, but you know what? I'm going to appreciate it as much as I can. I hope the kid in me never dies, because that's just how I am. I'm here to, I was born to rock, baby. And that's what we're here to do. We still got more rocking to do, bitch. We ain't done. We still got more rocking to do, bitch. This year, this Saturday, I'm going to be at the Exodus and Fit for an Autopsy show, which is going to be crazy pit-wise. We'll see what happens. And then we got the end of the year, Blue Oyster Cult will be in town. And then 2024 is already looking up with the shows already. I've already got like 5 shows. And I mean, when you mention names like Tool and Iron Maiden within those 5 shows, you know it's a good fucking year already. Just saying. All right. I'm going to rock and roll out. Y'all still, take care of yourselves. Be good. Have a good Thanksgiving. Eat lots of food and shit. And if you're vegan, fuck that shit for a day. Eat some goddamn turkey. You need it. Goddamn. Get over yourselves. Anyway, love y'all. Eat some meat on Thanksgiving. Mainly a big bird. And shit like that. Love y'all. And we're going to check you out. Next Tuesday we'll be back. And that, I think, is the new month that will be starting up, right? No? Not yet. Not yet. My bad. I'm stupid. My bad. Fucking dumb. Anyway, talk to y'all later. Remember, peace out. Night, night. Keep your butthole tight.